we need someone who really can make things, to get things done. I mean, I know that Bernie Sanders has a strong message, and that's what it is, it's a message. But in terms of being able to accomplish some of the things that he's espousing, it takes somebody that knows how to do that. And if we look at the record of Hillary Clinton, all of the accomplishments that she has, not only as a U.S. Senator, as a First Lady, as Secretary of State, and you compare what Bernie Sanders has done. He's been in the Congress for 26 years, and we can't think of anything that he's really accomplished, you know, and that's kind of tragic when you think about it, when you think of somebody that wants to be president. Hillary Clinton, in her first years in Congress, was able to get the first conference that they had for children's health. When she tried to get the universal health care bill, you know, way before we got the Affordable Care Act, she was able to pass legislation to get 8 million children covered with health care. This is way before we got the Obamacare Act passed. So, and we look at everything that Hillary has done, we see that she's somebody that wherever she's at, she's going to make things happen. When we think of Myanmar, of Burma, how many years did they have Aung San Suu Kyi in house arrest? And everybody said it'll never happen. The military will never let her out. And now look what's happened. You know, now she's actually, her party is now in democratic elections. Somebody from her party will be able to run for the presidency of Myanmar. And so she makes big things happen. After 2008, you know, after 9/11, the recession, America's name was pretty muddy throughout the world. Well, Hillary Clinton was able to clean up our image in the world with all of her diplomacy as being Secretary of State. So wherever Hillary is, she's going to make things happen. So she's got the wisdom, the intelligence, you know, the experience, and also, I guess, I'm going to say a person of reason that can make things happen in the United States. Well, actually, I have been working in the casinos, you know, talking to many of the workers in the casinos. I was out there this morning at 7 o'clock talking to many of the workers as they were changing their shifts. We've been doing phone banking, we've been doing rallies. I'll be doing some canvassing tomorrow to remind people that they should vote in the caucuses. So we're very, very busy. After Nevada, I'll probably go on to Colorado or to Texas or wherever the campaign would like me to go to. I'm a volunteer for the campaign. I'm not getting paid by the campaign, and but I want to be wherever I can be to help Hillary out. And doing a lot of press, especially in the Latino press. One of the things that I've been emphasizing that people don't know, especially young people, we have a lot of young Latinos, and they don't understand that, or they don't not understand, but they don't know the history, political history of Bernie Sanders. And one of the things I'm telling them, and I have here a really good witness right behind me, Zoe Lofgren, who was a congresswoman who was on the immigration committee in the Congress. And in 2006, we had all of these huge marches because they passed this horrible bill that would make anybody who even talked to and tried to help an undocumented person could go to jail. It was called a Sensenbrenner bill, and it was in the Congress. Well, number one, Bernie voted for that bill. But then when we had a good immigration bill sponsored by Senator Ted Kennedy, you know, also co-authored by Hillary Clinton, and Senator McCain was at the table. This is before 9/11, when it looked like you could get immigration reform passed. Bernie Sanders came out against it. And he did it 6 different times. Now, what he's saying is that he came out against it because it had a guest worker provision in it. Well, every single immigration bill that we have passed in recent history, including the big amnesty bill in 1986, has a guest worker provision in it. And the whole thing is that what we were able to do when we passed the amnesty bill in 1986, we're able to make sure that foreign workers and domestic workers were protected under the guest worker program. So for him to say that he voted against that bill because it had a guest worker provision in it, that is a lot of smoke. I mean, the thing is that we could have cleaned that bill up, except he was instrumental in making sure that that bill didn't go anywhere. So he did us a great amount of harm. He put immigration reform back a whole decade. And so I think this is what we have to look at. Bernie has a strong message of the things he would like to see. I will say Hillary Clinton is the one that can make those things happen because Bernie won't. Well, I I've been involved in the political world since I was 25 years old. Okay, I'm 86 years old now, and I have luckily been able to pass a lot of legislation, not only through our state capital, the state legislature in California, Washington State, and of course at the national level. And you know, there is a way to make things happen, but you've got to make sure, number one, you've got to get the votes to make it happen, because many of the things that Bernie's espousing have to be done in the Congress, which means that we also have to get a good Congress elected to be able to make some of these changes. You can do a lot with executive action, like Obama has done, as you know, even with this recent executive action for DAPA that they've held it up in the courts, right? You know, so there is a way to get things done, but just talking about something isn't going to make it happen. You've got to get all of the stakeholders in place, and you've got to do the political work and the organizational work to make the changes that need to be made. All we have to do is look at the Affordable Care Act as another good example. You know, even though we know this was going to affect all of the United States of America, it barely passed the Congress with 5 votes. So, you know, things take a lot of work. It's easy to say things, but okay, it's another thing to get them done. And that's why I'm saying, what has Bernie done? In 26 years in the Congress, what has he accomplished? We can look at other people in the Congress, John Lewis, you know, we could, different senators, what they've been able to do, that Ted Kennedy, et cetera, and that they accomplished, Paul Wellstone, Dennis Kucinich, you know, people like that. They actually got things done. What has Bernie Sanders done that we can think of in the 26 years that he's been in the Congress? Well, I think number one, it takes leadership. I mean, there's a lot of things that someone can do with executive action, the way that Obama has been doing it recently. You know, leadership counts for a lot, and I think that's what Hillary has that Bernie doesn't have.